a En Breve. I'm Gilberto Pinella. Today on En Breve, we talk about DESEO with actor, producer, casting director, teaching artist, and my good friend, Carrie Houk. First, I would like to give a warm welcome to our very own Daniela Velázquez. And Daniela, bienvenida de nuevo a En Breve. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you I'm glad to be here.
And what's the newest or the latest happening concerning immigration and the laws of the United States? I know that you're very involved.
Sure. Well, there's a lot shifting with the different executive orders with the Trump administration, and of course we're going to talk about that a little later in the show. But the thing that's interesting is that St. Louis has the fastest growing population of foreign-born people in the country.
Yes.
So if you think about it, all of these immigration orders will have a big effect on our region.
And there's no wall that can stop that.
I don't think so. You might hear otherwise.
Yes, but anyway, the future is that we are growing. The community is getting bigger here in St. Louis and everywhere. So I'm glad that you were out there fighting the good cause for the ACLU, and then talking to our audience about what's going on with the Latino community. So thank you.
No, thank you. Glad to have the opportunity.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Bienvenidos una vez más a En Breve. In 2015, a group of highly motivated artists joined forces to celebrate America's greatest playwright, Tennessee Williams. They created the first ever Tennessee Williams Festival St. Louis. And 2 years later, the festival is poised to attract people from near and far. DESEO, the festival's first ever international entry, will be the first in Spanish with a Cuban ensemble. We recently visited with Executive Artistic Director Carrie Houk, who told us more about DESEO and the Tennessee Williams Festival St. Louis. Let's take a look. Welcome back, and I'm here with my very good friend, actor, producer, artistic. You are the executive artistic director for Tennessee Williams Festival St. Louis. Carrie, welcome to En Breve, and tell me about DESEO. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about the Tennessee Williams Festival, but this piece of it I'm particularly excited about. It's being directed by my dear friend Flora Lawton from Havana and her daughter Lily Vega from Miami. It's adapted from A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. It's loosely based on that story, only it's through the eyes of a woman coming from a Latin American city to Miami.
And then she is an immigrant, so she's dealing with that issue as well, right?
It's very much, involved with the immigration process for someone coming from a foreign country, which is very timely. We didn't even know when this all came up how timely it would be for so many people.
And what's remarkable to me, and what I keep thinking about it, is like I keep picturing Blanche Devereaux in that Latin, with a Latin flavor.
Exactly. I mean, I think she's a perfect character for that milieu, and Flora and Raquel have a company called Teatro Buen Dia in Havana, and they are known for taking known works by Shakespeare, by other famous writers, and adapting them through the experience of the Cuban or Latin American person. And they're co-producing this with Flora's daughter, Lily Vega, who has El Ingenio Teatro in Miami.
In Miami.
Yes, we're bringing a really stellar cast from Miami. They're all telenovela actors, and they got released from their contracts for a few days to come see us here in St. Louis.
So our friends, our Latino friends that are tuning in, please, you have to remember Tennessee Williams Festival St. Louis, DESEO.
Yes.
That the name just
I know,
sounds like
desire,
very,
DESEO.
very, very sexy. DESEO.
Yes.
And
And
I want to be there.
It will be at the Marcel Theater. We open May 5. Let's see, we open May 5, 6, 7.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that
and then
3
they're
days,
gone.
we want to be
Yes.
packed. This is the first time that the company comes to St. Louis, right?
Absolutely, and I hope that they'll come back, regularly.
Okay, why do something so different?
Well, I am a believer in theater, live theater. I worry that live theater might die if we don't cultivate it for new generations and different pockets of our population, because sometimes when you go to the theater, you see the same crowd.
Yes.
I want young people in, I want people from other communities to see theater. To me, there's nothing better than a live performance.
And is it
Yes.
going to be in Spanish also, the music? I mean, I'm sorry to ask, but
yes, everything is in Spanish.
everything
But
coming-
for non-Spanish speakers, I'm telling you, it's going to be a thrilling, thrilling performance.
Wow, so has it been done before
No,
in the United States?
This is the premiere.
This is the premiere.
They
This is
did a
world
different
premiere.
version in Miami about a year ago, but it's been rewritten. Raquel Carrillo, who's internationally known playwright, has just rewritten it for us.
So what inspired you quickly? What inspired you to come up with the idea of celebrating Tennessee Williams?
Well, I think he's America's Shakespeare, our greatest writer. He spent 20 years in St. Louis, really formative years of his life, and I believe his years in St. Louis influenced so much of his work. And it was time that we honor really such an iconic figure in our culture. New Orleans has a Tennessee Williams Festival, Provincetown, Massachusetts does, and I always wondered, why don't we? Because he spent such a large chunk of time here.
And this is going to be the second year, right?
It is the second year.
How do you see it growing?
Well, already it's growing. I mean, our lineup this year is, I was
Incredible.
proud last year, but this year it's a lot, even more.
Well, with
more.
DESEO,
Yeah.
I'm like totally and completely convinced that already a success, it's going to be much more successful.
Yes. And I love the festival format because the Grand Center area just really comes alive, like a true theater district.
Definitely.
And it's just so much fun, and I hope that we're here for years to come.
Well, I'm pretty sure you will be, and thank you so much for
Thank you,
giving
Gilberto.
such an honor of having a play from a migrant community, a Cuban community. It's all in Spanish, and it's in honor of our migrant community here in St. Louis.
Absolutely. It
So-
makes me really proud that we're able to include that this year.
And if you want to find out more information, you have to go to twstl.org. See, the Spanish comes out. That's the problem. Anyway, well, thank you so much, Carrie.
Thank you, Gilberto.
Good luck, and I can't wait to see DESEO.
Okay, and we'll see you at the festival.
We'll be right back con more o más en breve después de este comercial.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
And talking about immigration and discrimination and everything that's happening, what do you have for us?
So the immigration policy in the Trump administration has changed since we last spoke. And since I interviewed Nicole Cortes and Jeffrey, a court found that the president's Muslim ban was indeed unconstitutional. The administration recently rolled out a new executive order, what many are calling the Muslim Ban 2.0, temporarily banning nationals from 6 majority Muslim countries and halting all refugee resettlement in the U.S. In addition, the Trump administration has directed Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE, to aggressively enforce immigration laws, unleashing the full potential of the federal government to find, arrest, and deport those in the country illegally. The ACLU has vowed to keep fighting this ban in the courts and in the court of public opinion. So what hasn't changed, as you know, is the concern for immigrants in this country.
Yes.
So one of the things we talked about are a few Know Your Right tips that the MICA Project gave us.
Okay.
The first is, if you have official documentation, carry it with you at all times. Now, these are more for people who are maybe worried about deportation and things like that. And the second thing is that everyone has the right to remain silent, regardless of citizenship status. You do not have to disclose your status to law enforcement. The MICA Project also recommends carrying documentation for people that show that they've been living in the United States for at least 2 years, such as pay stubs or utility bill statements, because one of the things that's come out that there may be increased deportation and also faster deportation.
Okay.
So lots of serious things happening that we all need to be on alert of.
Excellent. So let's take a look at that interview.
All right, great.
Okay. Let's take a look.
This is America, and this is St. Louis in 2017. Since Donald Trump took office in January, his immigration-related executive orders have rocked the nation, from coast to coast, and here in the heartland too. I met with Nicole Cortes of the MICA Project to find out how these recent changes in policy have affected St. Louis.
What are they feeling?
I think the overarching emotion is fear. People are afraid. These are really scary times for immigrants and refugees in our community. And here in the St. Louis area, we have a lot of diversity in those communities. We have, thousands of refugees that have been resettled here. We have thousands of members of the Latino community who've been here potentially for years and decades even, and all of those people across that spectrum are afraid. They're worried about what these changes could mean for their families, what these changes could mean for their futures.
The idea of constitutional democracy, the idea of defending the rights of everyone is a wonderful principle, but where it gets happened, where it executed, is where the rubber meets the road, and that's in an instant like this. What happened? The new president of the United States, President Trump, decided that he was going to issue a Muslim ban. Now, knowing that that was unconstitutional, he decided to call it something else. But here's the genius of the Constitution, here's the genius of our system of government. We have the executive, the president, we have the legislature, which was cut out of this system, and then we have the third branch, the courts. What the ACLU did is we went to the courts and we said, the president has issued an executive order. Now, while the executive has the right to protect the country, to keep us safe, and to determine who does and does not have a right to be in the country, he can't do it without regard to constitutional principles. And what the ACLU said is this Muslim ban, this test about religion, is not constitutional. And while the president has authority to make immigration rulings, he cannot do it without respect to the Constitution. We went, the court listened to us and agreed and put an injunction on the certain aspects of the ban. That's the way democracy is supposed to work, and as we've seen, more and more courts around the country have said the same thing.
Daniela, thank you for that great interview that you did with the MICA Project, and I'm telling you, what's next? I mean, talk to me. What's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen?
Sure. Well, I think one is that we all have to stay vigilant and stay aware, and I think that we all have to be advocates for our immigrant friends and neighbors and family. Not everybody has the same status, and even people who are here, who are citizens or who may not be citizens, there's a lot of fear.
Yes.
So I think it's on all of us in the community to recognize that and fight for each other and fight for our community.
Okay.
We do.
Anyway, thank you so much for that great package, and I can't wait to see your next interview.
Thank you, and I can't wait to see DESEO.
We're going to be yelling, Estela!
Hello!
And with that, nos vemos otra vez. Muchas gracias por sintonizar aquí otra vez más a En Breve y nos vemos pronto. Hasta la próxima.
Hasta la próxima.